welcome to our TLT today. Our subject is International Women's Day. This is an event that will be marked across the world tomorrow. On International Women's Day, we celebrate the achievements as well as raising awareness of women and the disparity that still exists. This year, the theme is Embracing Equity. You may ask why, in 2023, we need an International Women's Day. And this is a very good question. While progress has been made in the last few decades, there is still a lot of work to be done. In Afghanistan, it is forbidden for girls to go to school. However, boys can. In America, there are laws which now prohibit women and girls from having control over their own bodies. No such legislation exists for men. In Saudi Arabia, women need permission from their father or husband to enroll in school and university. Boys do not need permission. In Europe, we see more and more women taking up leadership roles, but it is still common for men to be paid more than women for doing the same job. We also see these women in leadership roles being treated differently. Look at how Jacinda Ardern was dealt with during the COVID crisis by the press compared to Emmanuel Macron. I could talk to you for hours, literally, about the inequalities and discrimination that I have faced throughout my career and situations that I've helped other women to navigate. But I sincerely hope by the time you reach the workplace, these situations will not exist. So today, we have invited two guests from very different industries to join us, who have very different experiences of women in the workplace, but both who are in the early stages of their careers. Clara and Vinci have come up with some excellent questions to ask them, and I know some of you have also helped with the questions, so they'll be discussing their experiences with them. So, Clara and Vinci.
Hi, POWIIS.
Hi, Clara.
Hi.
Hi, Clara.
Thank you. So, I'm Clara from Year 12, and I'm Vinci from Year 12 as well. And we're really honored today to meet our special guest for today's TLT on International Women's Day. We are proud to introduce our special guests for today, who are Sabrina Gill and Nick Tan. Could you guys please introduce yourself?
So, hi everyone, I'm Sabrina. I actually studied here, graduated in 2016, so a long time ago now. I know you guys wanted me to highlight this. I was the first head girl of POWIIS back in 2016. I had a wonderful time studying here. And now I'm a sustainability consultant. I used to be with EY, now unemployed.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Nick Tan. I work in a manufacturing and R&D engineering company, and I'm a new product introduction engineer. So I work on designs and making them mass producible.
Thank you. So looking at today's day as International Women's Day, why do you think it is important for us to celebrate International Women's Day?
I think celebrating International Women's Day is really important in raising awareness about gender equality, gender equity, and I think it's a great platform, a platform for people to sort of voice out. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good conversation starter, and it's pretty important to popularize things like this, so essentially it becomes unavoidable in conversation, and then we'll see change.
Thank you for that. And this is a question from Sasha Monik from Year 13, and she's wondering, why is women's history important in terms of gender equality, and how can we learn more about women's history?
I think from an international perspective, right, women's history, for example, in the UK, covers the suffragettes. It's quite an important part of high school history, so if anybody wants to look that up, it's quite important. Women have fought for a long time to get basic equal rights like the right to vote, and they continue to fight for the right to equal pay. So without history, we don't see what they had to fight for to get to where you are now, and what we have to fight for to get to the next step.
Thank you. So moving on from the history, what do you think about feminism and sexism nowadays?
I think there's still opportunity to fight for equality between the genders. But in terms of my experience, I think I've been very lucky because I've not experienced any sexism at the workplace or in my day-to-day life. So I think we've made tremendous progress. I don't think it would have been the same years ago. Yeah.
Thank you. Moving on from that, this is for Nick. So, since we know that you are currently working in an engineering and manufacturing company, and this industry currently lacks of female representatives, what efforts is your field or workplace making to achieve gender balance, and what can be improved?
Actually, before coming here, I spoke to my HR department. So, one very important question to me is whether or not we have a pay gap, and thankfully we don't, right? So that's very good to hear. Everything is based on merit, based on experience, and based on position, not gender, right? So that's something that's good to see, although it's a basic requirement, in my opinion. For me, I work in a team of very experienced engineers. My boss is a woman. One of the process engineers that I work with, in fact, 2 of the process engineers out of 4 are women. So actually my team is predominantly women. Outside of my team though, it's not great to say that a lot of the production engineers and process engineers are men, and that is very common. What we're doing to move forward is, I guess, just removing the previous cultural and sexist outlook of what stereotypically a man and woman can do. And once you throw that out of your mind and then you lead interviews to hire in the future, you hire just on merit, just on capability, and then everything is as balanced as it can be, as equitable as it can be.
Thank you, Nick. For Sabrina, the STEM field, science, tends to be a male-dominated industry, and you have chosen the course Environmental Science for your university. So, have you ever observed any or experienced any structural, social, or gender-based stereotypes while studying or working?
While I was studying environmental science, I'm not sure if many of you know what that entails, but it's a lot of forest work, so you're in the forest a lot. This one's it's a small thing, but the guys used to make fun of the girls because they would think we'd be more afraid of the spiders, the snakes, but I have to say the girls in the forest are pretty brave. I know some girls who are pretty into helping, so like looking for reptiles in the jungle. So that's one of the stereotypes I sort of witnessed in university. At the workplace, I think it's pretty equal. In my department, sustainability, we're actually female dominant. We have a female majority. So I think about 80% of our team is women, and our partner, the person who leads the department, is a woman. So I think in terms of work, there have not really been any challenges when it comes to being a woman and pursuing a career in the field of environmental science and sustainability.
Thank you. It's very great to hear that it feels like the society is actually progressing from the history where women has actually lack of jobs in the whole society. So we felt that from what you have said and what Nick has mentioned, we feel like the society is actually progressing forward in promoting gender equality. And we have a question. So why do you think it's important for more women to work in the tech industry?
I think that's for you.
I think it's crucial because it's not just about it's about creating as diverse a team as possible, right? So when you work in tech, obviously tech covers everything, the microphone, the acoustics of the room, the projector, but it also, more importantly, medical devices, right, safety. If you don't have women in the room, if you don't have people with disabilities in the room, if you don't have a team with a diverse background, you open yourself up for more of a hazard moving forward, right? Not just from an ideas perspective to develop and improve technology, but to make technology safe, to cover all the bases, right? One particular example is the safety belt in your car, right? That was, if I'm not mistaken, developed by Volvo, and it hasn't really changed in a long time. And as you can imagine, if it hasn't changed in a long time, it wasn't specifically designed for a woman, it was specifically designed for a man, right? Ultimately, it still keeps us safe, but could it do more? Probably, yeah.
So, do you think by employing women into that technology field, will there be like change made to the society?
Definitely. One of the projects that's come across my desk is a wireless internet-ready stethoscope. So checks your heart, checks your lungs, stores all the data in an app in the cloud. Means in rural areas you don't need to have better access to doctors because you can contact a doctor over the internet. So for example, mainland Malaysia has one doctor to 400 people, and East Malaysia has one doctor to 800 people, right? So if a lady is not involved in that team, right, to get through the early testing stages or to get through the early development stages, yes, ultimately towards the end, somebody will cover the bases, but you're slowing down the development of your product because you haven't had someone with her specific needs and requirements. For example, this specific stethoscope is actually also designed to check a baby's heartbeat and a baby's lungs, right? I'm assuming if people didn't care about women, they wouldn't have included that, and if a woman wasn't part of the team, she probably wouldn't have come up with the idea,
So this is for Sabrina. So what obstacles do women still face today in society? And what do you think is the reason behind that? And how can women overcome them?
Okay, so one thing I've noticed in Malaysia, because I'm under such, I feel strong women in the workplace, I've come to see that, it's not obvious, but they sort of have to choose between having kids or like having their family, taking care of their family, and also excelling in their career. So I think there needs to be more focus on co-parenting between a man and a woman in the traditional family structure, so that both have the opportunity to also move forward in their careers and pursue what they want to pursue without having to think about who's going to take care of the kids today, who's going to pick them up from school. That will be something that is shared between them and not just the woman's responsibility.
I think that's one of the reasons why in a lot of companies there are lack of women in high position in companies. Yeah. So could you please give advice to women who are just starting their careers or work?
So first of all, don't be afraid, because I think that is one of the things that that stops you from pursuing what you want to do. So just go in, be confident, pick something you're passionate about, because I think passion also helps you. Passion helps you drive. Passion drives you. And yeah, don't let anyone tell you you can't do anything. Okay?
And you, Nick, do you have any advice for women?
Just one word to the students.
I think Sabrina made a very good point. Passion is crucial, right? When you come to deciding what the future role you want is, make sure that passion drives you and you make the decision based on that, right? And when when it comes to the time when you have to do interviews, get that across. That's important, right? I've led interviews with men and women, right? And ultimately, not everything comes down to your grades, your gender, right? Your interests or what you've done, right? It's about everything. It's about what you've enjoyed and what you can bring to the team, because I don't always consider past projects that they've done or their GPA at university. I consider like what kind of person it boils down to and what really drives them, right? Because that will show you what ideas and what they can bring to the table, what you can bring to the table.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the wonderful conversation.
Thank you very much to Vinci and Carla for that excellent questioning, and to Sabrina and Nick for joining us today. We're very, very grateful. I hope that you found that discussion interesting, and if you are interested about finding out more about International Women's Day and the kind of things that people get involved at, there is a very good website, International Women's Day, just Google it. We do need to keep challenging, battling, like Sabrina said. Don't let anyone tell you you can't do it because you're a girl. And until 50% of the population have 50% of the opportunities, we're not going to stop. So embrace equity, be well, enjoy the rest of your lessons this afternoon. Thank you very much.